Our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
All right, we're here with qualifying. Hope everybody here is okay as we got everything working the way it should be. Once again, it seems like I'm having issues getting my stream to come up the way I need it to. It's not clicking on for me. All right, hopefully we got sound. Let's see if we got sound here. We got a minute and a half into qualifying here. All right, so hopefully we're talking here. All right, we do. Great. All right, so if for some reason throughout this broadcast, if you lose sound here, let me know in the comments. That way I can hurry up and get the mic disconnected and reconnected, because that seems to be the only thing that I found that will fix it. There you see there on the side of your screen, Edwards Rocket Run. We will be getting with our sponsor of that here in just a little while. Ron Matthews, and he's currently out there trying to lay down a decent time here in that 654 Sim Magic Mercedes. That AMG out there. Dan Brasington there in the McLaren. You got Mike Zacher out there in the Porsche. We got Robert Milbrad in a BMW. Matt Mars in a Ferrari. And Kate Matsko out there in the Ford. There's Mike Zacher. James Kendall there in a Porsche out front at a Hot Wheels painted machine. Wentland with a black flag here in the Goodwrench Corvette. Not a bad looking Corvette either. And we're going down through there. You see Chase Matsko again, Dan Brasington there in the number 29. Nobody really has a lap out there yet except for Zacher and Matsko. And they got 30 seconds here to try. I don't know if anybody else is going to lay. Oh, we got a few coming in there. A few coming in now. There, you got Matt Mars, Evan Gomet, James Pendle, Zader, Brian Scott. Bassler comes in with a blistering time of 2 minutes, .507. And we're down here off the corner. There you see, there's the Evo machine of Brian Scott. As they work on up through here, hopefully everybody's able and listening here tonight at Player Farm TV on the pole. Yeah, you should be able to hear me just fine. I'm going to work on getting that up here on a device so that I make sure that I'm being heard okay. All right, here we go. We got it up. So I should be able to pay attention now, making sure that we do have a voiceover. And we got Brian Scott rolling down there through corner number 16. And down here through the next set of corners. So hopefully here in just a moment we will get with Ron Matthews. Matthews didn't get a qualifying time, might have ended up off track. We'll have to get with him here and find out what exactly his thoughts were. But he's also going to be our kind of a spotlight here for a moment. Good evening there, Ron. How's it going?
It's going very good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I understand you have a special shout-out here or something here tonight.
Yes, that's right. We're sponsoring this race after Edward. He's my pastor's grandson, and he is fighting brain cancer right now. I don't know if I'm disclosed to share too much information, but if we can just keep them in our prayers, and let's race our hearts out tonight for him.
It's always it's always troublesome for families whenever they have kids with cancer, I always it's always a tough time, and we always try to keep them in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here today at Sebring. It's one of my favorite tracks, and I hope to get out there and give it all I got for him.
Well, you look like you were trying to give it all there in qualifying. Just seems like you might have ended up off track a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't have that much time for qualifying this time, and I went off track a couple times, and the track. I guess the discretion for the race eliminated me from my qualifying laps.
Yeah, unfortunately that does happen, and we're sorry to see that, but hopefully you can try to bring it up through the field here tonight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You got any other shout-outs there, Ron, before you get into that race car and head out there onto the track?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout-out to FMA. It's one of the best leagues I've been in.
All right, well, good luck, Ron, and we will definitely keep the, I believe, we'll definitely keep Edward in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much.
All right. Well, good luck tonight. Hopefully, who knows, we might see you at the end. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that Ron Matthews there, sponsoring the race tonight for Edwards Rocket Run. I see in the about halfway down the right side of your screen. Unfortunately, a young person with cancer. We definitely want to keep them in thoughts and prayers, and hopefully they find a cure. But I don't think cancer has not touched at least one person out there. I know both my grandparents on my mom's side died of cancer, and so it definitely is not something that you wish anybody to deal with. Because a couple years ago, my dad was diagnosed with a possibility of cancer in his kidney, and they removed the kidney. Luckily, he's been cancer-free now, but he's down to one kidney. But yeah, hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to you, Edwards, as you battle this, and hopefully, with God's will, you can beat it. All right, got a minute left here of warm-ups. They head on out through here. You're looking there at Dan Braskin, Ron Matthews out here, and he's into the inside wall. Jody Nielsen here in the 56 machine, trying to get a couple more turns in along with Jay Davis. Kurt Bassler out here. Matt Mars as well. Matt Mars out there in the Mars hardwood machine. Steven Zader out there in number 69. And he's going to go around off track and into the wall. Only two of them have a time here in warm-up. Sebring must not be all that easy then here tonight, folks. 2 races to go in the season. Kurt Bassler out there in front. Oh, I forgot our starting grid here. They're going to be Travis Roberto, Chase Matsko there in second, Mike Zacher there in third. Kurt Bassler there fourth, Brian Scott fifth, James Hondoff there in sixth, Evan Gomet in seventh, Ignacio there in eighth, Matt Mars ninth, Steven Zader there in 10th. Okay, well, unfortunately I didn't quite get through the grid in time. We're down green flag racing. Down here into the corner. Travis Berto out front, Chase Matsko up in the second. Kurt Bassler there third, Mike Zacher there in fourth. We got Matt Mars back here in ninth. Missing a person here in the field here tonight, but hopefully he's able to tune into the broadcast. I don't know. And that would be Mark Nelson. Usually he's out here in his Porsche. And they all come sliding on through here. I see Ignacio there, side by side. And 207, he's side by side there of the 68 of Gomet. Working down through there. There's that Hot Wheels machine of James as he worked on down into the next corner. I worked through the top side of the racetrack. Let me see if I got a map here that I might be able to follow myself. I don't know if I do or not. This is Sebring. No, I don't have a map for me to follow. I know there's 17 corners if I can keep track of where I'm at on the racetrack. They're coming down to corner number 17 now. James Fendoff ended up crashing back here towards the back. He's back going again. We'll take a look at it here on the replay. Now there in that number 74, and just lost it coming out of the corner. And I think we're going to see that a few times here tonight. Hey, driver head down here in the corner number 1, up there through 2. Coming around 3, 4. And see Roberto out front there. Graham Connolly off track. James off track again. Bad problems there on the front end of that machine. And we see there's Matt Mars. There's Chase Matsko. He's falling back there to 5th now. It's Kurt Bassler, Mike Zacher get up there to 2nd and 3rd. Here comes Matsko looking to the inside of that McLaren. Can't quite get up there. Head on down in the next corner down here. Up and off down here, off the corner, down that back side of the racetrack. Chase Matsko there in 5th. Trying to see if we got any other drivers here. 45 minutes is the race time. And we see Matsko out there in the grass. It's not really where you want to race. He pulls back in front of Evan Gomet. Gomet down there to the inside now. Coming down here through turn number 17. They're on board there with Matsko as he tries to hang on to it through that final corner. Up and off as you're on board now with Evan Gomet. And at 68, as Gomet gets around him. So Chase falls back, another one almost into the grasp of Ignacio. Ignacio works off the corner down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Or somewhere abouts there. And we got one around. That's the 34. Matt Mars going around. Off track goes a couple drivers. They work down through here. There you're seeing Ron Matthews and at 654. We talked to him there at the beginning of the race. He works down here trying to work his way up through the field. He's up to 11. Chase Matsko's going backwards through the field here, sitting in about 6 tonight. There you see, there's Ron, Dan Brassington, Robert Milbrath. Up off the corner, here they go. Work here off. Looking there at Chase Matsko in that 26 machine as they work down through the backstretch. Real good, tight racing here tonight. As it stands right now, but that could change. Wetland way back off the pace as he's way back here at the back in that Goodrich. He's working through the top side of the racetrack right now up at the top of the map before working down here off the corners. I see everybody else working down through that final stretch before coming around the final corner. Matsko trying to get up there to Gomet. Hanging on there and around. Up. As they keep going here, 6 minutes in. Work down here in the corner number 1. Up here to 2. Around this chicane. They're looking at Robert Milbrath. Back up here to Chase Matsko. Got a lot of battles possibly taking place here, but there's nothing really concrete yet. We see Matsko trying to get around Gomet. They come up here. Looking on there, Ron Matthews. And at 654. Gomet hangs on there to that 5th spot. And that Mustang of Matsko's all over his back bumper. And hanging on down through there, Gomet ends up back underneath. Nice cut over there. That'll let Matsko around there into that 5th spot. And here comes Gomet once again, gonna fire underneath, cannot quite get there. So Gomet and Matsko battling it out. Got a couple Porsches there lined up together now, Gomet and Ignacio. They battle it on down out of the corner. There you're looking at Ron Matthews as he gets up there to Jody Nielsen. Working down here into the next set of corner before heading on to that last straightaway. Everybody hangs on, coming there off. And Ron goes around. Trying to make sure he doesn't take anybody else out. He's clear. He's going to get spun back around there. He's off track. Unfortunate there for Ron as he ends up spun around, facing the wrong direction. Now we're back up here to Gomet. They head on down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Matsko really pushes it on through. And there goes Gomet around, pushing a little too hard, coming off of turn number 1. Ends up down there in the dirt. Our hometown garage. Now, whoa, man, looks like Jody Nielsen took a header there into the wall. That car is there in the grass. Missing the whole front clip. That's going to slow him down. They're on board there with Evan Gomet. Gomet, as you saw, lost it there coming out of the 1 corner. Now that he's working up through the second of the racetrack here. Up to the next right-hander. Here in that number 68. Bunch of twists and turns here before they head down through that right side of the map. down here into the next corner, making that right-hander. We see them all there. There comes the McLaren of Dan Brassington right there behind Gomet. Don't really see any battles up there towards the front. This is your closest battle right now between Gomet and Brassington. As the 028 of Roberto, still your leader. Here we hit 10 laps, or 10 minutes in, I'm sorry. Dan Brassington there in 11. They're watching these drivers run off the corner. In the corner number 1. Gomet really hanging out there. Steven Sater up there in 7. He's running at number 69. Ignacio up there in 6th. Chase Matsko up in 5th. Brad Scott here in 4th. He's chasing down Mike Zacher. Zacher is currently there in 3rd. They head off the corner here into the next one. Kurt Bassler in 2nd. Travis Roberto there in front. Kate Matsko, as we said, sitting 5th. Gomet and Brassington still trying to battle it out back here. Working down here off the back section of the racetrack, coming down here to the final stretch. Having Gomet there in 10th, with Roberto there in, with Robert, sorry, there in 9th. Yeah, I'm sure you're missing being out here. It looks like they're having such a great time there, Jed. You're not the only one missing the race, I know that much. I'm pretty sure Nelson is out having fun somewhere else. Mark Nelson usually drives the Porsche sponsored Apple machine. Hopefully he's able to watch the broadcast though and cheer on his other teammates if he has any. As they work down here out of the corner, looking to the inside there is Robert Milbrad possibly in that 45 to see if he can get around Davis in that nameless racing machine. Gomet back here in 10th. On board with Gomet here down into the next corner. And work up off. There we go. Down here, around the corner, down across the back. Up across the top section of the racetrack, down here into the next corner. Travis Roberto there out front. Bassler there in 2nd. Zacher there in 3rd. Scott in 4th. Matsko 5th with Zader back there in 6th. With Ignacio in 7th. Davis there in 8th. Milbrath in 9th. Gomet trying to get up there around Milbrath if he can. They go over the back of that BMW. Down there off the corner, hang on to it. Here comes Gomet. Hang on, Gomet off track there possibly. Not sure, didn't really see anything come up. We got some of these drivers really falling behind now. And we see Gomet back there in 10th. He's about 22 seconds off the pace. Matthews back there in 17th. He's about 40 seconds off the pace. Jody Nielsen back here in 16th. Missing that front bumper on that machine. Can't be helping him out at all. Now we see Travis Roberto there out front. Mike Zacher there in second. Brian Scott there third. Kurt Bassler there fourth. Chase Matsko in fifth as they whirl it off out here. Bassler has crashed. Somehow. Take a look at it here. Come on down through here. See what happened to Bassler. There it is. Bassler goes against the back fence. Gets it back underway. Doesn't waste too much time though, so. Currently sitting fourth. Maybe lost one position. Matsko gets up there and he's going to try to battle Bassler if he can. Alberto works there off a 1. Zacher off a 2. Oh, I'm sorry, off the final corner. Brian Scott coming there also. Kurt Bassler, Chase Matsko. As Eagle Met back here, he's still battling it out. He's got the 45 of Milbrad that got around. Or no, I'm sorry, no, he didn't get around. He's still working on getting around, and he's up there next to Milbrad. Or I'm sorry, no, Milbrad is up there next to Davis. Can't quite get there. He does get there this time, gets the pass done. Now does Davis get back in front of Milbrad? He does, as you're looking on here from Gomet. Right there in front of him, that BMW right there in front of him is that of Robert Milbrad. Working down here up towards the top end of the map. And work off back down through here. Gomet all over the back of Milbrad. Milbrad all over the back of Davis. The driver's trying to hang in there, trying to figure out how to get the pass done. Now we see here with Milbrad there, as we're on board here with Milbrad, as he tries to get up there to battle with Davis. But he's got to keep an eye on that rear view camera as he's got Davis, or I'm sorry, Gomet right there behind him. That battle rages on. We got Chase Matsko up here still working on the Porsche of Bassler. As you see here, Milbrad trying to get up to speed, but Davis has that inside line going in here to the final corner. And that's kind of where you want to be, is along that inside lane. Unless Milbrad can somehow get it to bite. I don't think he did. Oh, yes, he did. He got around Davis there through that final corner, coming there across the stripe. So Davis falls back into 9, and Milbrad moves it up there into 8. Well, Met's hanging on to 10th right there. Chase Matsko here in 5th. And we're going out here through the top end of the racetrack. Again, shout out to Edwards Rocket Run. Thank you for Ron Matthews for bringing that to our attention here at FMA. And work there off the corner. Down here in the corner number 2. No, I'm sorry, into the next one. I don't know what corner what anymore. I don't have that map, and I don't have a map of that in front of me. I gotta get, and that's one thing I gotta work on for next season. I gotta get all the maps for all these tracks so that I have them. Now they work down here out of the corner. That way I have the corner numbers. I know this one's 17 they're coming up to. I guess I could work backwards. Down there with the 45. We do have one on pit lane. That is Wetland. The number 3 of Wetland has entered the pits. Gone a lap down. And it's Eagle Met. He's working on Milbrath. As Davis fell back into 11th. Brathingen up to 10th. Gomet there in 9th. Milbrath up there. James having issues, has crashed. Where? There you see it. Problems there for James Kendall. He tries to limp it around there. He has lots of damage on that machine. Has a meatball. His back wheel's not turning on that. So big problems there for James. I got Mike Zacher back here in 2nd. Roberto out there in front. Hanging on to what he can. Now we're watching there, Mike Zacher 2nd. Brian Scott back here in 3rd. Chase Matsko really putting the power now. Trying to get up there to battle it out. As everybody heads here into the next corner. Matsko is working down there to turn 16. Now down that long back straightaway. Driver Roberto out front. Zacher there 2nd. Scott there 3rd. Bassler there 4th. Matsko, as we said, in 5th as they roll it on out here. Up off the corner come Matsko. Brian Scott there 3rd. Mike Zacher 2nd. Roberto there out front 1st. And these drivers are all very competitive, very tight together when it comes to the points. Some tracks lend themselves better to other drivers than others. And out we're here in 5th with Steven Zader. All right, we'll head down. We got drivers on pit road. Gomet, Brassington, Milbrath, Laments, Graham Connolly, Nielsen, all down there on pit road. So that makes the question, when's everybody going to pick? Because we are over halfway. We're coming down here to 20 minutes to go. And about another minute and a half. So we're a minute and a half away from 20 minutes to go. This is a 45-minute race. They got drivers heading out of pit road. Here comes 56 and Nielsen off of pit road. Working up down through there. Ignacio there in 6th. Davis there in 7th. Matt Mars there in 8th. Off the corner down here through the start-finish line comes the 46 of Mike Zacher. Brian Scott has entered pit lane. Zader, Ignacio, Davis, and Mars have not pitted yet. Ron Matthews has not pitted yet. That's Ignacio getting around Steven. 85, as we said, of Scott down there on pit lane. Working his way off. Now we're starting to see some gapping going on the racetrack. Black flag for Ron Matthews. He is on pit lane. I'm going to guess that is possibly a speeding penalty at the beginning. So he'll be held for a speeding penalty. Ron Matthews there with the black flag. That is a speeding penalty flag off pit road. When he was coming in, came in a little too hot and got the penalty. Wetland still sits on pit road. Trying to see when the next driver is going to pit as you're watching there, Gomet and Milbrat. Now you're up here with Ignacio and Steven. There's Brian Scott. He made his pit stop. Back out here on track now. Roberto, Zacher, Matsko all into pit road. The 69 of Zader comes in. Ignacio staying out. Zader coming on pit road. Roberto's exiting. So is Zacher. Hey, driver, they do what they can to get around here. So Matt Mars up there in behind Roberto in that 34 Ferrari after his pit stop strategy. Or no, I'm sorry, no. Matt Mars has not come to pit lane yet. He's the last driver to do so. Besides, I believe, Ignacio. Yeah, Ignacio has not made pit road yet either. So Ignacio and Mars still need to make a pit stop. Roberto there in second. Matsko back here in fifth. There you see that gap on some of these drivers. Matthews a lap down. Wetland 2 laps down, still sitting in the pits. Zader have problems. Now watching Zader come down here. He lost it. Coming in here to the corner. Ignacio on pit road now. Travis Roberto, there you see Matt Mars. Mars comes there out of the final corner. He's going to dip it on the pit. Yes, he will dip it on the pit road. That means everybody has made their one pit stop. Coming to 15 to go. 15 minutes to go. There we see Matsko, Bassler, and Scott all grouped up together here. Kurt Bassler in at 396. And look there, Gilmet ends up drifting it through the corner. Gets it back underway, but that is not how he wanted to take that corner. He did not want to drift it through there. And they work here down through the next section. As Wentland has not had the couple nights of the week that he was wanting. Last night struggled in the Xfinity. Tonight struggles in the GT3. We watch here as Bassler works on Matsko, trying to get that Porsche getting around him. Looks to the inside. Looks like he has a run here. Matsko doing all he can to try to hang on to a podium spot at the moment. But Bassler sticks with them. Yeah, all over the back of that Mustang is the Porsche of Kurt Bassler. And I'm trying to figure out where they're at. They're coming down that straightaway into that final corner. Bassler down there to the inside. He's going to try to get it. But man, oh man, look at that run that Matsko had coming through there, up into the outside wall possibly. And he's going to end up hitting both Bassler and Scott a position off of that. So Matsko lost 2 positions. And we see now, here comes Brian Scott working on Bassler down here to the inside. The driver hanging out here in the next corner. Brian Scott there. Graham Connolly having issues back here, has crashed. Now we're back up here at Brian Scott. 15 minutes to go for the race tonight. Now we see there Chase looking to the inside. They thought better of it as they work out here through the corner. Hanging on to it. Here they go. You got Davis out there in that 317. There you see Brian Scott. Got Chase Matsko right there at his bumper again. Chase ended up too wide on the one corner, enabling Brian Scott and Kurt Bassler to get around. And they work off the corner now. We're looking there as Chase Matsko rolls off up there in through the dirt. That Mustang struggling here of Matsko, but Roberto's doing a great job with his Mustang out there in front. Chase just trying to harness that power to try to get him back up, get himself back up there in the podium where he knows he can get to. Jody Nielsen ends up crashing once again back here in the back here in 15th position. Now you watch Chase Matsko bring it off the corner. Kurt Bassler there in 3rd. Chase Matsko there 5th. Up off the corner they go. Chase Matsko 5th. Ignacio there 6th. Steven Zader there in 7th. And work down off the corner, down here in the corner number whatever. Here we go. Thank you all for tuning in here to Flicker Farm TV on the pole here tonight. We're here with the Edwards Rocket Run. For a young man battling cancer down here off the corner. You see Brian Scott, Ron Matthews not having the run that he was really hoping for tonight. Really was hoping to get up there to the podium, but unfortunately he's back here in 17th. Quite a bit down. Ended up with a speeding penalty on pit road, which that didn't help him much. So, glad we at least got to talk to him there at the warm-ups. Now you're looking there at Brian Scott. He works up there to Bassler. There's your leader, Travis Roberto, out front. Mike Zacher is there in 2nd. Kurt Bassler there in 3rd. Brian Scott 4th. As they work down through that final back straightaway there, for some of these drivers, like the 85 of Brian Scott, the 26 of Matsko. Up off the corner, there you go. Brian Scott sitting there for it. Kurt Bassler there in third. Everybody spread out. 10 minutes to go of racing left. 10 minutes, drivers. If you're watching, 10 minutes to go. And the corner, into the next corner, out here in the 2 and 3 for Matsko and company. As you're looking there at Nameless as he comes down there into the corner, into the final corner. Now we're watching Roberto out there in front. Mike Zacher there second. Kurt Bassler there third. Those are your top 3. Top 5 rounds out with Brian Scott and Chase Matsko. As you're watching there at 317, Jay Davis. He's sitting back there in 10th. Right there in front of him is Evan Gomet. Gomet has had a few struggles here tonight. Ended up putting that car sideways and drifted through corners where maybe he shouldn't be. But nonetheless, still putting together a top 10 tonight. Which, out of these drivers here, 18 laps. Or, I mean, not 18 laps, but 18 drivers. He's sitting about mid-pack. So I wouldn't get too upset with that. As Zader is starting to have some issues blinking in and out there with connection issue. Travis Roberto out there in front. Brian Scott, there you see him trying to stay ahead of Matsko and doing just a fine job of it as they come back down through here. Everybody spread out. We're still seeing at 69 a Zader blink in and out. Now he's disappeared. Now he's come back. And there's the 12th place driver of Leminsk. There's Scott. There we see Michael Leminski at 9.24. That McLaren as he rolls down through off the corner, down here through the finish line, or getting ready to come down here through the final stretch, heading towards the finish line. Now we see the 9.24. Travis Roberto out there in front. Mike Zacher there second. Kurt Bassler there third. Brian Scott fourth. Chase Matsko fifth. Ignacio there in sixth. Milbrat there seventh. Zader there in eighth, if he can stay connected to the track. Evan Gomet there in ninth. Davis in 10th. Down there off the corner there, we're watching it as Leminsk has company from Brassington. Brassington getting around. Down there on the inside, number 29, Gomet with a black flag yet again. I didn't quite catch it. I wonder if Gomet ended up with a slowdown and did not serve the slowdown. And now Matt Mars has a slowdown. Wetland there with a meatball. I knew Wetland was in the pits, but I didn't realize that he had a meatball. There's Aiden Gomet there in ninth. Or did Wetland blow the engine sitting in the pits? That could be a possibility. Roberto there out front. Zacher there second. Bassler there in third. Scott there fourth. Chase Matsko there in fifth. Ignacio back there 6th. Milbrat there 7th. There's Zader back there in 8th. Gomet there 9th. Davis there in 10th. You see everybody working there off. Kurt Bassler, Brian Scott, Chase Matsko. Gomet in the pits to serve the penalty. Graham Connolly there in 14th. I see Michael Laments there in 12th. Zacher there in 2nd. Kurt Bassler up there to 3rd. Brian Scott still trying to hang on to 4th. You got Chase Matsko. And just out of curiosity, what do we have here? 4 off tracks here today. I'm wondering how high they are. Honestly, not too bad. Last week's were a little higher. Watch them all come around the track. Brian Scott there in 4th. Chase Matsko there 5th. Ignacio there in 6th. Robert there in 7th. There you see Matt Mars for Mars Hardwood driving there in 10th. Alberto out front. Brian Scott working off the corner. Ignacio. Robert Vilbrath. There you see Michael Laments. Boy, Brian Scott up here in 4th. That interior camera doesn't really do any justice to that Matsko machine. It's closer than what it looks in the mirror or in that camera. Working down through the back part of the racetrack for some of these drivers, and other drivers like the 654. Ron Matthews works his way towards the top of the racetrack, who's soon to be a lap down here as Roberto's gaining on him. Brian Scott coming around under 4 minutes to go, soon to be 3 minutes. So we're going to say 2 more laps to go. Possibly 2 more laps to go. It might be 1 more lap when they get around here. It is about 2 minutes for a lap time. Now they work off of here. Depending on how quickly they get around here for Roberto. Roberto's working here through the chicane, coming down here towards the turn 16. Heading towards turn 17 now. There's no battles going on the racetrack right now. The closest competitors to each other are that of Scott and Matsko. As you see them work there off the final corner. Roberto here for the going through here, possibly final lap. We'll see. See how quickly he gets around here. He's coming up there through the top end of the racetrack. Work through there through 7, coming down here to 8, I think. Again, I don't know if I'm naming these corners right or not. I got a right-hand chicane kind of thing. Get through there pretty smooth. Coming up here towards the top of the map. They're all coming down around there. I don't know if he took the white flag yet or not. He's still got a minute to make it down there to the start-finish line. So it's going to be close. Do they finish this lap? Or is it 1 more lap? That is what we're trying to figure out here. Coming down to 30 seconds. We're going to see here as Roberto comes around here. Less than 30 seconds on the clock. This will be the final lap. Roberto did come across the line before it struck that time clock. So final lap in the air right now as Roberto comes there through. Mike Zacher there second right now. We look on to see about Chase Matsko. Matsko's falling off the pace here a little bit of Brian Scott. They're working through the final lap here. I don't see anything too crazy. You're seeing that Brian Scott out of Spanish Sport. Great racing here tonight. There you're seeing Robert Milbrath and Jay Davis. They work down through the corners here. Up here off the corner, their last corner. You're watching them come around there. They're going to get the checkered flag here for them. Possibly. Wait, that don't seem right. Should be waving the white flag there for the flagman, but they have one more lap to go here for Robert Milbrath and Davis. And Roberto's working down that back side of the racetrack, coming down through there. There you see Bassler, Zacher. There in front of him, you see Roberto. Roberto's working down here through the chicane. They're going into the final corner. Down here at corner number 1. Or corner number 17, sorry, not corner number 1, but corner number 17. Roberto comes off. He will get the win. Matsko with a slowdown. Trying to clear it. He got it cleared here for the checkered flag. And comes across the line. Ignacio back here in 6th. Roberto getting that win. There's Zacher, who's got 2nd. Bassler there in 3rd. Avengomet drifted it there through the corner. He worked down that back side of the racetrack. Waiting on the finishing order to come in. I'm waiting here to see what we got going on here, and we're slowly getting them to come across the line. There we see James. And number 74. I don't know if he's the last one to come across or if that is Matthews. Matthews is the last one to come across the line. He's coming out of the final corner now. See if we can get with Kurt Bassler maybe. I don't see Kurt. Mike Zacher. Here we have Zacher. No, I'm not seeing. Oh, wait, there's Zacher. Okay. Good evening there, Mike. How's it going?
Going good. Going very good. Second race with these guys. It was fun.
Second race with FMA?
Yeah, second time.
Well, you got yourself a podium out of it. You got 2nd place.
Yeah, I was consistent. I got lucky. couple people spun, so I'll take it.
Well, sometimes, you got to have luck on your side. Whenever you're running these GT3s, and especially here at FMA, the competition's so tough here to try to get a podium here. These guys put on a great show every week.
No, I know. I was recommended Mark Nelson, who's over on vacation right now. He recommended I come over here. He and I race together several times. So, yeah, I was looking forward to it. It was fun.
Well, you got sponsors, shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting up onto that podium spot tonight?
Not really. Just really thanks to Mark Nelson for inviting me over here. Really clean racing, fun group to race with. I hope to race a lot more here.
All righty. Well, we look forward to seeing you and more here as more racing takes place here at FMA.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
All right, Mike Zacher there in a second tonight. Now, Travis Roberto, our winner. Good evening here, Travis. How's it going?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's Victory Lane feel tonight?
Not too bad. That last 10 minutes was pretty awful. The tires, it just felt like one lap they were there, and then the next lap I was struggling pretty bad. But glad it's over. Happy to get the win. It was a good finish. I missed most of the season just with life in general, but back at it now.
Well, I mean, you came out, you put down a great show, and got the win. And I know we've seen you in other FMA races as well. But, I mean, coming back, like you said, after some things, that win must feel pretty good tonight.
Yeah, it was a good win. I'll take it. I'm happy to have it. Last week was close. I had a little bit of struggle getting in the pits last week. So I ran some good lap times. I felt good there, but lost 3 or 4 seconds in the pit and just could never make it up. So it was a clean race this time. I almost lost it in turn. God, I don't know the turn. Whatever the last turn is, with about 7 or 8 to go, and I lost like 4.5 seconds. Like, uh-oh, here it comes. But I was able to keep it together, and again, happy to take the win.
You have sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for helping you get that victory tonight?
Well, just the Mach 10 Motorsports Group. I'd like to thank you for the broadcast, and thanks to FMA for the season. And I'll be back week 1 when it starts for the next one.
All right. Well, you're going to be here next week?
What's on the schedule for next week? I guess I wasn't aware.
Oh, no, I guess this is the last race of the season, huh?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm getting confused here. Let's see here. So that means the next one starts September 15th.
Yep, I'll be back. I should be able to make most of, if not all of them, this time at least.
All righty. Well, we look forward to it here. We head off into, I guess, the final week of FMA here. And congrats there on a great finish tonight. And can't wait to see what you got in store going forward.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the broadcast, Adam. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All righty. See you in a couple weeks there, Travis. Well, that was Travis Alberto, our winner here tonight. And thanks, everybody, for coming out to watch. Again, we'll keep Edwards in our thoughts and prayers. Everybody have a great, great night. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed the racing action. Good night from FFTV.